In this video, I will describe the GrainGenes BLAST application covering the following topics: launching BLAST, query selection, BLAST databases, submitting queries, and result reports. There are multiple ways to access the BLAST tool. From our main website, you can click the BLAST icon under Quick Links. From any one of our pages on the website, you can find BLAST in the Genome Tools menu. You can also simply type it in on the browser address bar. You can get to BLAST from our sequence database pages. And finally, all our genome browsers allow you to select a sequence and directly submit them to BLAST. I'll show you how to do this a little later. Let's look at the BLAST application quickly. The first thing you'll notice is the query sequence box, and right above are some example buttons for our canned examples. Below the query box is our collection of databases, and at the very bottom there's a BLAST submit button in the submit bar. So let me show you how to provide a query sequence. You can type in a DNA sequence or amino acid sequence directly into the query box. You can paste in a sequence with Ctrl-V from another application. You can drag and drop a FASTA file. We can also support multiple sequences in this file example. You can have up to 10 sequences, and as mentioned earlier, you can submit queries from our genome browsers. There's a couple of ways to do this. Let's select one of the genome browsers. The first method of selecting a sequence to BLAST is to highlight a region. Click the highlight button, select the region of interest, which will turn yellow, and then go up to the BLAST menu and click BLAST highlighted region. The second method of submitting a sequence to BLAST is to select a feature. Open up Feature Details, and there's a BLAST button for each feature. If you click that, it will submit the sequence to BLAST. You can also select any sub-feature sequence, an exon, a CDS, a UTR, for example. And finally, you can also submit a sequence from the main website's Search and Browse tool. Under Quick Links, click Search and Browse, and let's find an arbitrary gene in the database. Select the class Sequence and go. This will bring up a sequence result page. Under the DNA sequence you see on the page, you can click BLAST this sequence. Moving on to selecting a database. You'll note that we have two tabs for two types of databases. We always start with the nucleotide database, and as you can see, we have a robust collection of databases for wheat, barley, oat, and rye. Note the GrainGenes icon next to some of the databases. That's an indicator that we have this species assembly as a genome browser. Clicking the Protein tab reveals our protein databases. After providing a query sequence and selecting a database, proceed to the bottom of the browser, the Submit bar. You'll see advanced options here, where you can modify the BLAST parameters. These are essentially command line parameters for NCBI BLAST. You can add BLAST parameters like e-value threshold, word size, and gap threshold, etc. The BLAST button that appears will depend on the type of sequence and database selected. Once you select the BLAST button, your job will be submitted to the job queue, and it will be executed as soon as there is an available processing slot. You'll see this processing screen while your job is either waiting or running. Note that our BLAST jobs have a 10-minute time limit. If a job runs more than 10 minutes, it will be killed by a watchdog. This is for fairness, so try to architect your BLAST queries accordingly. When your BLAST operation is completed, you'll see this report page. I'll just briefly go through some of the options. First off, if it was a multiple query, You'll see the results of each query by clicking the query of interest on the sidebar. Most notably, you'll see the graphical overview of hits. This is an active image. Clicking on one of these bars will jump you to the hit. Below that, you'll see a button to expand another active image for length distribution of hits. Below that is a summary table of hits sorted by total score. If these are results from a protein database query, then you'll have a nice chord diagram of hits too. Let's jump to a hit. You'll see that each hit has a select option. This allows you to select and download combined reports available on the sidebar. You can view the sequence with this button. You can download the FASTA. You can download alignment files, which download pretty fast. And if there's a GrainGenes genome browser for the selected database, then the JBrowse button will be available. Clicking that will jump to the genome browser and render the hit feature. For each BLAST result, a URL is generated. This URL can be shared. The BLAST result retention is 3 days.